Welcome back, college football fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for the College Football Report with Eric and Ryan. Every week, Eric and Ryan and I go through all the games and make our picks, and that's been the format up to this point, but it's playoff time, guys, so we're going to do things a little differently. I want to spend the first half of the podcast talking about the playoffs and, in particular, what this weekend means for the playoffs, for seeding, who's going to get in, which games are most important to watch for the fans as far as the playoffs go. And we'll start with Eric. What's the biggest game for you this weekend as far as that? I know IU Ohio State's the biggest game. We're going to talk about that. But as far as the playoffs, who's getting in? What's the biggest?
Well, to me, the game that has the most impact on my team, Notre Dame, would be the BYU Texas Tech. I think if BYU wins or even keeps it really competitive, I think BYU is going to get in, and that's going to put Notre Dame out based on Alabama.
Whoa.
Based on Alabama jumping Notre Dame last week.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah, if BYU wins, it's over. They're in with Texas Tech, and Notre Dame would be out. So I'm really nervous about that game. Texas Tech I think it's 12.5 right now. They should win. They handled them pretty easy earlier in the year. Another game to pay attention to would be how Alabama does in the Georgia game, because if Georgia can dominate Alabama,
that might take care of Alabama right there.
Yes, it could. But I think the committee, based on the comment the chairperson made after Tuesday night, I think it is set. I think the field is set. I don't think they're going to punish teams for playing this weekend. I only think, like I said, I think BYU can get it with a win. But really, I think that's the only scenario. Texas is done. Vanderbilt's done. Miami, long shot. If they were going to put Miami ahead of Notre Dame, they would have done it by now. They've had a month to do it, and they haven't done it. To me, it all comes down to BYU for Notre Dame. But I think the rest, seeding-wise, they may flip-flop a little bit. But I think the teams are in. The field is set, with BYU being the only team that could really make a big difference.
I think BYU is the only question mark. You going into a big weekend like this, you look at Indiana, Ohio State, it doesn't really matter what happens to that game. Both teams are going to be in. But with BYU and Texas Tech, you think NCAA football gods would make it a little more dramatic and have that at 8 o'clock game. Instead, it's going to be noon. And I think the playoff field's going to be set by the end of that game. The only thing that could slightly differentiate between that is Alabama and Georgia. And Eric hit on that a little bit. The fact that the committee put Alabama ahead of Notre Dame set the stage for win or lose, Alabama's going to be in. The only thing that would switch that is, as Eric mentioned, if Georgia dominates that game and Alabama might get bumped and BYU keep the Texas Tech game close. Both those teams might get in, and then Notre Dame might still squeak a spot in. But if you're a Notre Dame fan, this weekend's going to be nerve-wracking because you can't lose your first 2 games of the season. But the way we played since then, and those were close losses by good teams. The way we played the last 10 weeks, we've dominated every football game. And to do a whole survey of the whole season, you can't say Notre Dame's not one of the best 12 teams. However, the way everything's set up, losing the first 2 games of the year, they could be left out. And I think we're going to know that by the end of Texas Tech and BYU by 3 o'clock on Saturday.
So as far as the playoffs are concerned, nothing Friday that we need to be concerned about. The first big one is Saturday at noon. Ryan, on Friday night, there's also a game that is going to matter as far as the playoffs are concerned as well, right?
You got North Texas, 11-1, facing Tulane at 10-2 in the American Championship. That team, I'm assuming, Eric might be able to weigh in on this, but the winner of that game is going to get the conference number 5 championship and be the 12th seed.
That should be how it works. They actually need a lot of the teams outside of the Power Four really want Duke to beat Virginia on Saturday because
That would be the best thing for Notre Dame.
I think so too. That would definitely help.
Duke to beat Virginia, because would that be a scenario where we wouldn't have a single ACC team in the college football playoff?
That could happen. One thing that no one has mentioned all week, I guess I guess I did hear a little bit of the talk yesterday, but they keep going with the Miami versus Notre Dame debate and the head to head, and I get it. That's the number one tiebreaker of all time. That's the first thing you go to. But the thing no one is really hammering down on is Miami's not even in their conference championship. They didn't even have the tiebreaker over a 7-5 Duke team. So you can't even do better than a 7-5 Duke.
Yeah.
What's going on?
That argument doesn't hold much weight with me.
I think if you're going to pick one of the two, you got to go head to head. The problem is that was in August. Notre Dame's been dominant since. Miami hasn't played many teams since. I can see a lot of different arguments. Let's just get this tournament to 24 teams is my argument. Just like FCA.
I remember thinking a year ago, there's no way finally we're going to be able to set all these teams on the bubble. There's not going to be any more talk about the bubble. And second year two, here we are again talking about it. How many teams are really deserving? I think Vanderbilt deserves to be in there myself. But yeah, 12, I never thought I would say this, but I don't think 12 is enough. I can't believe I just said that.
This has been doing 24 for 2 decades. Why can't you copy what they do? It's very successful. It's almost the same amount of teams in both divisions. It makes complete sense. Then you can get every conference champion in there, and you can have some kind of Cinderella bracket thing, which I think you want to get people involved. All kinds of cool things come with 24. I would love 32. That's probably too many the way it's set up right now. Then you're going to get some really average teams in there. But the more the better as far as I'm concerned.
I just never thought there would be more than 3 or 4 teams who have a legitimate shot to win the whole thing. And I've said it before, there's 10, 12. Anyone outside of Tulane or North Texas, someone's going to make a run, and I'm not going to be surprised to see Ole Miss win it. I'm not going to be surprised to see Indiana win it. Georgia, anyone in this can win it, and I never thought it would be this way.
For sure.
If Notre Dame gets in, they could win the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just think it's going to take some more fine-tuning, because if you look back when Notre Dame played for the national title in 2012, we were still doing a BCS type scoring system, and that limited the national championship to 2 teams. And then we finally get the college football playoff where we're going to do 4 teams. And now we've expanded that to 12 teams, and you still make the argument that there's teams being left out. My problem with the current format is what you're doing for some of the conference champions that aren't really worthy of being in that field versus a second or third place finisher of a Power 4 conference. Let's just say Tulane wins tomorrow night and they end up getting the 12th seed. There's no way Tulane's going to win the national championship. No way.
No, but I think you got to give the conference champions a shot, or they might as well be in their own division, which might be covering any.
Now we're talking about participation trophies. So you're going to tell me we're going to pick the top 12 teams. Tulane wins the American West or American Championship. We're going to give them a spot over, let's say, Alabama losing to Georgia by 17.
If not, there's no point in having those conferences as part of your.
That's my whole argument, Greg. We've expanded it to 12 teams, but I think the format, it's got to evolve. There's got to be different details and parameters to who's going to make that top 12. You can't give participation trophies to the American Championship and the Sun Belt Conference and give them a spot in this when they have no business being in there. They have zero shot of winning.
I have an idea. Let me run this by you guys. So let's say you expand it to even 14 or whatever, make it work, add 2 or 3 teams or whatever. Instead of, along with championship weekend, they would have play-in games like they do with March Madness.
Love it.
Why not have Miami and Notre Dame play this weekend? Why not have Texas play Vanderbilt? The winners get in. That would be cool.
Well, that might be something that they consider moving forward because they're already talking about the conference championship games going away.
Makes sense the way you're currently doing it. But if you incorporated the conference championships into it, you could do things a little differently. I think the conference championships are important. I think winning a conference championship is still an important thing.
And that's why they're not going to punish teams for playing in them, because if they start punishing teams that lose,
exactly,
it is going to go away. Teams are not going to want to be in there to win, to play that extra game. So I don't think anyone's going to get punished this weekend. It goes back to what I said. The only thing that's going to change is BYU's going to get in or stay out.
Eric, that goes back to my argument. That's why the committee leapfrog Alabama over Notre Dame, is because Alabama's playing in a conference championship, and they know coming Sunday morning, we can't penalize them for making the SEC championship. We got to put them one slot ahead so we can justify keeping them in the field when they lose. So the teams that are going to get left out on that is going to be a 10-2 Notre Dame. It's going to be a 10-2 Miami. It's going to be a 10-2 BYU. And I'm not saying that that's not how it should be. I'm just saying the system needs looked at.
One game that we know both teams are going to be in the playoffs is number 1 Ohio State, number 2 Indiana. Unbelievable. Clearly the best 2 teams in the country throughout the season, and one of them is Indiana, guys.
I know. Who would have thought? I picked Indiana to take a step backwards.
For good reason.
Yeah, I had no idea they would do this again. It'd be even better than a year ago with the tougher schedule and to go 12-0. This game's going to tell me everything. It's going to tell all of us everything we need to know. I thought we saw a little bit of it last week with Ohio State dominating Michigan. I think we thought that would happen. Ohio State's really good.
I have a feeling whatever happens in the Big Ten championship, we're going to look forward to a possible rematch in the playoffs between Ohio State and Indiana. I think those teams are that good.
I think that would be great drama for the national championship. And I just hope Saturday night's game is close. I think Indiana can win this game.
Me too.
Either way, they're both solidified. The only thing that's going to happen with this game is they might flip-flop 1 and 2. The loser of this game is still going to be number 2. The winner's still number 1, in my opinion. Do you guys?
If it's a blowout, I could see them dropping to 4 at the most.
If Ohio State wins by 20, I could see them knocking IU down to 4, maybe.
The Texas Tech game.
Yeah.
Georgia's
win would be 2.
Yeah.
It would take a big win by Texas Tech or a Georgia blowout of Alabama to change the seeding. But I think 1 through 4 is pretty much locked in, barring a Texas Tech loss.
Or a Georgia loss.
Or a Georgia loss. Georgia might move to 4. I don't think they're going to drop to 6 or 7.
Yeah, I can't wait for that game. It's hard to put into words how great the Cignetti staff, he and his staff have been. It's hard to put into words. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it, Ryan.
No, it's been fun to watch. And last year I sat idly by as a supporter, but not a buyer in to the program. But when you see him double down this year and what he's done, and especially after the win at Penn State, I know Penn State was down, but he almost got emotional on the field for what that win meant for his team and for this program. And I think IU found the right guy. And
yeah,
I hope they have a strong showing Saturday night. This is going to be huge. It means nothing for Ohio State to win a Big Ten conference championship. It means everything to IU to win that game Saturday night. I think they can get it done. I'm hoping they get it done. What it can do for recruiting and moving forward with that program, I think they've definitely found their guy.
All right, let's get to our picks. We're going to pick all of the conference championship games. As I put Eric and Ryan up against the rest of the Central Indiana Sports Report contributors and some local media in a competition. We are through 14 weeks, and Grant Schaus of the IU Report holds on to his lead. He has 386 points. Will Rutherford of the Strictly Biased podcast, after a huge week this week, taking it with 29 points. He moves into second with 372. Ryan still in the thick of things with 368. I'm fourth with 360. Then Michelle Garman, 356. Mike Rich is next. And the way it works is every game's worth 10 points. The more a team is favored, the fewer points they are worth. And most of these games are pretty even. But our first game, Friday, is the Sun Belt Championship. And that is 8-4 Troy against 11-1 James Madison. And this is one that we do expect to be lopsided. Troy worth 8 if you want to take the underdog. James Madison, former stomping ground of Kurt Signetti, worth 2.
I'm going to take James Madison, home team, in this one, playing what could be a playoff spot with a win. Again, they would have to have Duke beat Virginia, I think, for James Madison to get in, with Tulane being ranked higher than them right now. So, huge game.
They haven't been in the top division of college football that long.
I think this game's going to come down to too much offense from James Madison and quarterback leadership from Alonzo Barrett the third. I think they handle this game. I think Troy's 8-4. JMU comes in at 11-1. I think they hold serve here and then cross their fingers watching Saturday's games for a chance at the college football playoff.
It's funny, the difference between a smaller school and a school like Ole Miss, because James Madison, their coach, has already taken another job, and they're going to let him stay and coach because they know what it means to the university to make a run, hopefully make a run. And then you look at what the Lane Kiffin situation was in Ole Miss, and they're like, get the hell out of here.
That whole situation is kind of a dumpster fire, but the NCAA calendar with big time program plays a factor in that. So Kiffin's he's kind of a tool. He's proven it, but there's deadlines and stuff in place that it had to happen the way it did, which is unfortunate for the players, but that's the way it is.
I don't know if I mentioned it, that Sun Belt Championship, 7 o'clock on ESPN on Friday. 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network is the Conference USA Championship, an opponent of Kennesaw State, one of their 3 losses. 9-3 Owls take on 8-4 Jacksonville State. I have both teams worth 5 points, and a game that does not factor into the playoffs, but is for a conference championship.
I'm going to take Kennesaw on this one just based on the fact that they played IU decently earlier in the season. Actually surprised me. And then go on to go 9-3. I'll take Kennesaw State.
I'm taking Kennesaw State just because they're favored, and it doesn't really matter who wins this game.
I'm taking Jacksonville State. It looks like a toss-up. The American Conference, Tulane, the home team at Yeoman Stadium in New Orleans. It's number 24 North Texas against number 20 Tulane. Of course, North Texas has the greatest alum of all time, Mean Joe Green, and they are back with a chance to make the playoffs if they win this, but very outside shot, right?
Yeah, outside, definitely. But I went all in earlier a few weeks ago with Memphis hosting a home game once they made the playoff field, and it bit me in the butt. So I really think Tulane's going to flop, and I'm going to take North Texas in this one.
Both teams worth 5 points, by the way, Ryan.
I'm taking North Texas. They're 11-1, and they got that freshman quarterback, Drew Mestamaker. He's thrown for almost 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I like them. He's been steady all season long, and they're going to beat Tulane Friday night, win the American, and then hope for a spot in the playoff.
Well, that would let James Madison in if they win, correct? That's how that's going to work.
It'll be the higher ranking team.
Yeah, but if James Madison loses, possibility,
Yeah.
North Texas could get in as well, or they could leapfrog them in the rankings.
North Texas is 24. James Madison is 25.
Okay.
By the way, that game's 8:00 on ABC on Friday night.
And they are the Armadillos, correct? North Texas
They're
Armadillos?
mean green.
Who are the Armadillos? Which Texas team?
They have like a green falcon.
They're the mean green named after Mean Joe Green.
North Texas Mean Green named after Joe.
That's correct.
Okay.
Their greatest player of all time, of course, since he is one of the 10 greatest football players who ever played the game. Final game on Friday night, another one surprisingly no factor in the playoffs. It is 10-2 UNLV against 8-4 Boise State, a playoff team last year for the Mountain West Championship in Boise. 8:00 on Fox. I have UNLV on the road worth 6, Boise State at home worth 4. Eric,
We'll go with the blue field, and I'll take Boise State at home, even though they're 8-4. I'll take Boise.
I'm going to take UNLV in this game. We mentioned when we start breaking down every conference back in August who could be a breakout or a leader in that Mountain West, and we said UNLV, and they're holding steady at 10-2. I know they're a slight underdog going into this game, and it's on the road at Boise State, but I'm going to stick to UNLV pulling this one out.
I want to take UNLV, but this is a game Boise State wins. It just seems like every year this is a game that Boise State wins. Give me the blue field and the Broncos. Moving to Saturday, we start with the MAC championship. It's 7-5 Miami against 8-4 Western Michigan. Not a great year in the MAC. Both teams worth 5 points, Eric.
Yeah, flip a coin on this one. The MAC football has been so bad all year. Oh my gosh. I can't even watch it hardly.
Seems like the new system, as it were, with the paying players has really hurt the MAC.
It's really hurt the MAC. But we'll stick with our Bronco theme, and I'll take Western Michigan.
I'm going to take Western Michigan too. It's a 1.5 point spread. They're the home team. The MAC's been so bad all year. NIL's killing that conference, along with other conferences as well. But give me the Broncos.
In the MAC, the past decade, if it's a Michigan team against an Ohio team, I'm taking the Ohio team every time. So give me Miami, even though they're 7-5 and in a conference championship, which is special. Special, man.
They're the Duke Blue Devils.
Ugh. Speaking of which, forgot to mention noon on ESPN for the MAC championship. At the same time, on ABC, we have the Big 12 championship, and that's a big one. 11-1 BYU, 11-1 Texas Tech. Of course, the Cougars ranked 11th, right on the doorstep of the playoffs. Texas Tech with a potential top seed and a bye. I have BYU worth 6, Texas Tech worth 4.
This is going to be the game to watch, the game of the day, in my opinion. This will just get everything going, and then we can get primed and ready for IU, Ohio State at night. But this game is huge for BYU, huge for Notre Dame. Texas Tech just put it on them earlier, and I picked BYU to beat them earlier in the year. I'm going to take Texas Tech again in this one, but BYU is a scary team. I would not want to play them. They're one of those teams, I don't know what it is about them. They're just big, physical. They score.
They run the ball.
They're fun to watch. They're just a dirty, nasty football team. Texas Tech was just a lot more finesse and just really BYU couldn't hang with them on the outside. I want BYU to get beat because I want Notre Dame to stay in there. But I'll take Texas Tech. But this is going to be a heck of a game. It's not going to be a blowout like the first game was. I know the spread right now is 12.5. I think that's way high. We'll see what happens, but I'll take Texas Tech.
Ryan, I forgot to mention that this game is being played at Cowboy Stadium.
I think Bear Bachmeier is going to do what he always does. he's going to will his team to the finish line. I think they're going to grind it out on the ground. I think Texas Tech has paid a lot of money on that defense. They have a worthy quarterback. They have a great offense matched with a great defense. The 12.5 point spread, I think if you're wanting to play the gambling role, you definitely take BYU plus 12.5. But I think Texas Tech just has too much offensively in this game. And that's what makes me take the Red Raiders. I don't think it's going to be a 12.5 point game. I think it's going to be more like a 6-9 point game, but I think Texas Tech pulls it out.
Give me Texas Tech as well. We move to the SEC, and it's funny. We have a Georgia-Alabama SEC championship game, but there's a game with Indiana in it that's bigger. Unbelievable. I just can't get over how crazy this story.
Times are changing.
That's right. The SEC, 4 o'clock on ABC from Atlanta. You have third-ranked Georgia against ninth-ranked Alabama. Both teams worth 5 points, Eric.
Other than bragging rights, and obviously both teams, the SEC title is huge. You want to be able to say you're the SEC champion. This game doesn't mean a whole lot to the big picture. I think both teams are still in the playoff. I'm going to take Georgia. I hate Georgia. I hate saying that. Alabama just looked really vulnerable last weekend at Auburn. Not good. I know it's a rivalry game and you throw out all the records and all that stuff, but I'm worried about this Alabama team. We were so high on them a month ago, and they're kind of going backwards.
Not kind of.
Yeah.
They've been definitely going backwards.
So I'm going to root for Alabama. I still like that coach. I think they got the right guy. I'll take Georgia.
Man, when I look at this game, I know Kirby Smart's 1-7 against Alabama, but Ty Simpson, I had him in my Heisman running, and he was rolling for a while, but he hasn't thrown for 100 yards in the second half of a football game in 5 weeks. And I just think Alabama, Eric mentioned it, they just seem vulnerable to me. I think Georgia is going to be too much defensively in this game. I'm almost willing to say it might not be close. I think Georgia wins this game in manageable favor. Is that even a word?
I think that's right. I'm telling you, 2 weeks ago, I would have had Alabama by 10 in this game. I really believed in Alabama. The last 3, since the Vanderbilt game, they have not looked the same.
I'm just saying manageable favor because if Georgia wins it by 10, isn't that kind of dominating? But I think this could be 14, 17 points in favor of Georgia.
I agree. Too many Bulldogs. 8 o'clock on ABC, a game that nobody will be watching, will be the ACC Championship. It's 17th ranked Virginia against 7-5 Duke. Virginia is 10-2. The game is being played in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you're taking Duke in the upset, it's worth 6 points. Virginia, the favorite, worth 4.
And a game I won't be paying any attention to. I'll watch the bottom line as I'm watching good football elsewhere. I give Duke no chance in this game. I'm taking Virginia all day. Probably not even going to be competitive.
Don't we want Duke to win this game, Eric, for Notre Dame?
Well, I'd like to see them win, but it's not going to happen. What should have happened is the ACC commissioner should have said, yeah, you know what? I know how we figured out the tiebreaker, but yeah, Duke, you're not playing. You're 7-5. Miami, you're going to play SMU, and we're going to get a real champion, and you can play your way into the playoff. That's what should have happened.
I'm taking the Dukies.
I'm doing a little bit of a reverse psychology here.
And I live in reality, so I'm taking Virginia. Virginia's winning this game. Sorry, Ryan. Virginia's winning this game going away. And then the biggest game of the night, maybe not as far as the playoffs go, but especially around here in Indianapolis. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. Lucas Oil Stadium. 8 o'clock on Fox. I have the Hoosiers worth 6. Ohio State worth 4. We did the official Big Ten preview with Grant Schaus and Mike Hutzel. We all three picked Ohio State in a close game. Eric?
Wow, we're gonna go 4-0 4 to Ohio State. I'll be try not to go the long way around this. I'm taking Ohio State. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think IU can win this. I hope they win it. I'll be rooting for IU. But to me, I think they took a step a year ago. They took another step this year. I don't think they're that team yet. I don't think Indiana is Big Ten champions. I don't think it could happen in year 2. Ohio State looks so good up front. Their offensive and defensive line are just freaking men. They manhandled Michigan. I know Michigan's down a little bit.
They got men too, though.
They do. I think Ohio State is just too good. I like their quarterback. I think they got a better quarterback than I know I've been hard on Mendoza. I'm taking Ohio State. I think it's a great game, but I don't think IU's there yet. I don't think they're going to be that team just now. I don't.
This is a tough one for me. I think Ohio State might be the better team, but I love the story of Indiana. And me and Shane Gibson was at the IU basketball game the day Kirk Cignetti got announced. They introduced him at halftime, and he come out in his suit. And we still didn't know what we were dealing with as IU fans. And this guy comes out in his suit, and he's like, I'm Kirk Cignetti. I'm your head coach. I'm going to be the guy. We're going to be in the Big Ten championship game next year. Michigan sucks. Ohio State sucks. And Purdue sucks. And he dropped the mic and walked off. And the place, Assembly Hall, went nuts.
But nobody believed him.
No, me and Gibson looked at each other as the crowd is going. I mean, it was raucous in there. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
Exactly. It's crazy.
Dude, he is backing it up. And I'm taking IU in this game. I mentioned it earlier. I don't think the Big Ten championship means as much to Ohio State as it does to IU. This is their national championship game. And I just think it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a close game. I just think IU is going to find a way to win this game, man. Give me the Hoosiers.
I'm going to be excited, definitely on board with IU the whole game. One thing I'm interested in seeing is what kind of atmosphere is Lucas Oil going to be? If it was another team playing IU, I would think, man, there's going to be a lot of IU fans. It could feel like maybe a home game. But Ohio State travels so well. They're going to fill that damn thing up.
They travel so well.
I've been to a championship game there before with Ohio State, and it's like, God dang. So I'm interested to see how the crowd is, if it's going to be 50-50, 70-30, Ohio State, IU.
It's going to be 50-50. And being in Indianapolis, I think most bystanders would say, you got IU playing in Indianapolis, it's going to be a 70-30 crowd. No way. Ohio State will show up. It's going to be a 50-50 crowd. It's going to be a great atmosphere. I can't wait for that game.
Yeah. And also IU basketball plays during the day in Indy. So the downtown's going to be packed full of IU fans.
A lot of red. Ohio State, yeah. IU, and Louisville is who IU plays as well. By the way, this is good. I kind of disagree with you, but I kind of agree with you, Eric, in that I do think this team is that team with IU. I just think Ohio State might be a little bit better. I do think they're the two best teams in the country, and we could see them again at the end.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
So who's your pick, Greg?
I'm taking Ohio State by a point. I won't be stunned either way. I think IU is that good. I really believe that they're that good. I've watched that defense all year. It is top 2 defense in the country. Their offense probably isn't top 2, but those weapons are so good.
Yeah.
And, it's going to come down to who makes the big plays, I think.
And turnovers.
All right, guys, before we go, let's talk a little bit of Heisman. Is Jeremiah Love going to win this thing?
I think what Julian Sayin did at Michigan, I think he's your front runner. I'd put Diego Pavia right there and Mendoza with the shot Saturday night to really make a case and get right back in there. I think those three and Jeremiah, I think 4 of them go to New York. But right now, I think Julian Sayin's got the edge.
Ryan, Mendoza and Sayin really have a chance to prove their point on Saturday night.
They do, but Sayin, as of now, has the edge, just what he did against Michigan, and Mendoza kind of laid an egg in that last game at Purdue. They won big, but he wasn't outstanding in that game. Sayin was outstanding in the Michigan game. Diego Pavia, he is what he is. He's going to show up every day and just win your heart over.
Too bad we're not going to get Diego Pavia in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a shame. I love that kid, and every team in the country would take him as their quarterback. I think Sayin's probably the front runner right now. Julian Love play number 4. You got Mendoza maybe at 3, depending on what he can do Saturday night and into the playoff. And I still like Marcel Reed at the 2 spot in the Heisman. They lost 1 game, but he's going to have a chance to make that up in the playoffs, and I think he's worthy of that. So we'll see what happens.
That is a wrap. Next week, talk all about the Army-Navy game. That'll be the whole podcast, right? Just 30 minutes on Army-Navy. Make sure you break that one down. Now, we will have a reaction to the playoffs with Grant and Mike Hutzel. We hope Eric and Ryan can join us and talk about Notre Dame making the playoffs as well. We will do that on Sunday.
That's going to be so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
We will.
If Notre Dame's not in, well, I don't know what I'm going to do the rest of this year. I don't know what I do.
You be an IU fan? Come on.
No.
Easy transfer.
If Notre Dame doesn't get in, they better play Miami in the bowl game.
That'd be great.
They fucking better do it.
It's a good idea. I really think they probably should. Those bowl games, they're just crapshoots now. Yeah, it's a whole different world. But I tell you what, the on-field product has been fantastic this year.
Yeah, nothing better than college football.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it as always. It's been fun. The Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media, and I love Susie.